one of the key things that QBuild provides is no surprises. QBuild and their CADLink software has really been beneficial for a lot of our customers in order to streamline the process from design to production.
Hey everyone, it's time to hear a partner's perspective with the Partner Choice Awards that I launched this year to give partners a voice on working with ISVs, how they like working with ISVs, and picking those ISVs they like to work with. And I'm excited to have Dennis Easter here from Algorithm, and we have a ISV we're going to talk about, which is QBuild software, and why Algorithm and Dennis likes to work with them. And we'll dive into a couple of different questions and he will share his expertise and insights in working with this specific ISV. So welcome, Dennis, to my first one ever of the Partner Choice Awards.
Well, thanks, Amy. Always good to spend some time with you and talk about our partners.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so we're diving into QBuild software. First up, I would love for you to share why you trust their solution and why you chose to work with them.
Sure. So a little bit of background about how we came together is Algorithm works primarily with manufacturers. And when we engage with a company that engineers their products to order or has a lot of design work that they do in CAD software, we found a need to be able to transfer information from that CAD file into Acumatica very easily, in order to save manual input, and errors and everything that goes along with that. And so we looked out in the marketplace and we came across QBuild and their CADLink product, and their interface that they present to the user has got some great color coding, so it actually establishes the relationship between the information that's in Acumatica and in the CAD drawing. So it tells you if the product, the parts, the components already exist in Acumatica, if they're new, if there's differences between the two as far as names and such. So it really gives our customers an opportunity to manage the data going into Acumatica early on in the process instead of having to go through several reviews. And that's been a real time saver. The ROI for our customers is really fast. Mm-hmm. And we've not had any problems with QBuild as an implementation partner because we're not going to learn the product. We're going to trust them to do it. And so if you remember our podcast about my rules for working with ISVs, yes. One of those rules is there's no surprises.
Right.
And that's really one of the key things that QBuild provides is no surprises. And then if you think back to another one of my rules is you got to be easy to do business with. And QBuild is very responsive to my requests. So at Algorithm, we like to be as self-sufficient as possible. And so they provided me a demo copy of their software so I could put it on my demonstration server, trained me on not how the product works, but enough to demo it. Mm-hmm. And so they do everything they can to support Algorithm in our efforts to present, sell, implement the product for our customers.
So you would say they have a great partner-centric model then?
They are extremely partner-centric. They are all about relationships. They are part of a special MVP group of ISVs that Algorithm has created, and they're constantly involved with our marketing team and events, and so they are really a great partner in sharing information with us as well as marketing activities and spreading the word.
Awesome. And I know you touched a little bit on this, but would you just kind of give some key ways that their solution helps your clients and what you've seen that's really improved in their CAD environment, I guess you would say?
Sure. So when some of the customers that really embrace CADLink, they're working with very complex products. So those who aren't familiar with the way um, that the manufacturing works is you create a bill of material, and that's all of the components inside of a product. So if you think of a coffee maker, you've got the plastic housing, and you've got the heating element, and then you've got the water reservoir and the filter basket and the pump. And then when you look at each of those components, and now say just the filter basket, you have the filter, and then you've got the little spring thing on the bottom so that when you put the coffee pot under it, it opens it up. Just many, many pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't have an integration between your CAD drawings, where the engineers are designing this, and your ERP, those are likely going to have to be manually entered. I thought that can be a lot of time. I mean, it can be
Right.
days for some very complex products. And so CADLink, by being able to integrate with Acumatica, and they do other ERPs as well, but because we focus on Acumatica, it saves hours and hours of time because most companies don't have the staff to have an engineer create the drawing and then pass it off to a data entry clerk to enter. So you've got a very expensive engineer
Right.
doing data entry. And so
Not
that
cost efficient.
not cost efficient at all. And so that's why the return on the investment with CADLink is really strong, and that our customers really appreciate that.
I bet. Wow. It's funny because I love how you gave an example and break it down because we don't, as end users, as people that use these products, don't think about all the stuff that happens on the back end. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I guess I'm really fortunate about dealing with the companies that I work with is um, going, walking down the street or in a store and say, oh, that's one of our customers. And because I'm involved in the sales process and understand what they make in that, I can know what's behind the product, how it gets from all the raw materials and components onto the store shelf.
Yeah.
And so QBuild and their CADLink software has really been beneficial for a lot of our customers in order to streamline the process from design to production.
That's awesome. Okay. So you talked a little bit about implementation and support, but would love for you to just give an example of like how responsive are they? Do they really help you from the support standpoint as well as the customer? How does that all work?
So yeah, great question. And because of our philosophy internally, our customers will contact QBuild directly for any support issues. And so again, go back to my rules. No surprises, and easy to do business with. Our customers always have glowing reviews for QBuild, primarily because one, they don't have problems,
Mm-hmm.
which is good.
Right.
But then they are responsive and they will provide program patches and remote control sessions in order to troubleshoot, in order to make sure that our client's up and running. So that's from the customer support side. On our side, like I said earlier, I would have a demo and they would say, okay, well, when do we need to be there? They would block out, half hour in their day because that's when I had them scheduled in the demo. And then they were very responsive to provide me with my own copy of the software and train me on it. And so they do everything they can in order to support us and help us meet our objectives as well.
That's great. Okay. And to wrap it all up, let's talk about one thing, like the value they bring to your business, if you could wrap it all up into a nice, pretty bow.
Sure. Uh, so in the ERP space, competitive market,
Yes.
and one of the things that differentiates uh, we use to differentiate ourselves is providing the total solution. And if we go into a manufacturing environment and they're looking for some way to make their design and integration with ERP more efficient, if we didn't have QBuild and CADLink, we'd have to, it would be an effort in futility. We'd have to walk away from the deal because without that, there's no way we're going to be competitive. And so they may not win the deal for us, but they're going to keep us in the deal and give us an opportunity to win.
Well, that's great and powerful. So, yeah, definitely those solutions that can help you win deals.
Love that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and working with QBuild software. I truly do appreciate it. And we will wrap it up and get this going.
Thanks, Amy.